US, a military base in Caracas, as well as an air base. Also, Venezuela.
Also, they came in with the attack first. Boom, 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 boom. Got rid of the weapons, then went and got the do. Or maybe they did it all at the same time. What's up, yo? Welcome to another episode of VIDWON Reacts. Um, this just in. So apparently, the U.S. captures Maduro, and they him and his wife. They expedite him over here. It's crazy. Bombed them over there and everything. So let's get right into it, man.
Spending the holidays, and Lucas, you've had great coverage overnight here. What else are we learning about this operation?
Good morning, Griffin. A daring operation in the pre-dawn hours in 2 a.m. local in Caracas, 1 a.m.
But they were bombing. They were bombing. Oof. Bring the troops.
East Coast time. U.S. Special Operations Forces flew in from off the coast of Venezuela to snatch Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro and his wife. President Trump announcing the news on Truth Social.
I mean, this guy was like, he had Venezuela bad. He had Venezuela bad for the simple fact that he wanted no trades with the American government. And everybody knows the biggest customer is America. And that's a problem. When you can't sell your goods to America, it's a problem.
A short time ago,
That's why you seeing all the Venezuelans depleting from there. Because, man, I saw a video. I've never been to Venezuela, but I saw a video on Venezuela. Man, that dude, he was crazy. Nicolas Maduro.
read it for our viewers. It says, quote, the United States of America successfully carried out
Now that this is Trump talking.
a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leader, President Nicolas Maduro, who has been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. This operation was done in conjunction with U.S. law enforcement. Details to follow. There will be a news conference today at 11 a.m.
Okay, that's crazy.
Mar-a-Lago, thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump. And just before the assault force arrived at Maduro's compound, you can imagine the intelligence that
There's somebody recording from the phone. That's crazy, bro. That you gotta witness stuff like that.
U.S. intelligence agency had to have to know where to send the assault force to be able to locate and grab Maduro as well as his wife. You had numerous airstrikes throughout Caracas targeting Maduro's forces at a military base in Caracas as well as an air base. Also, Venezuela.
Also, they came in with the attack first. Boom, 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 boom. Got rid of the weapons, then went and got the do. Or maybe they did it all at the same time.
Venezuela's largest port. And this is something President Trump has been threatening for months. It started with the drone strikes on the alleged drug boats in the Caribbean and the Eastern Pacific. Over 24 to date, killing over 100 people. You saw it when U.S. forces seized, as a law enforcement matter, the oil tankers that the
thing with the boats and the oil tankers, you know, that I think that was a reason. He was trying to look for a reason to go in there and get that dude out. Because it makes no sense. This guy's self-proclaimed president, and he just hates the American government. You know, that country's rich in oils, rich in a bunch of stuff, but yet they're poor. Makes no sense. You know, He had to get up out of there, man. They had to get him up out of there.
The Trump administration said were associated with the Maduro regime. The goal is to cut off the drug and oil revenue stream for Nicolas Maduro. And for months, we've heard President Trump say that Maduro must go. And Maduro was very defiant. Despite repeated threats from President Trump, over 15 times, President Trump said he will be
Yeah, I saw a video where Maduro was talking crazy.
striking on land. Recall on Monday, we heard the president confirming that the CIA struck a target along the coast of Venezuela, destroying some of Maduro's drug boats. And again, this has been something that is not quite unprecedented. We saw in 1989 with the seizure of Manuel Noriega from Panama. This is something that the president
Crazy.
wanted. We had not heard from President Trump, almost shades of Operation Midnight Hammer when those B-2s struck Iran. We haven't seen President Trump over the past 2 days. We heard from him on New Year's Eve. It was interesting. A reporter asked the president what his goal was for this coming year. He
had to be on the low, and they did it January, today, early in the morning. Crazy.
Peace. Well, for the President Nicolas Maduro, he didn't get that. Now, we did hear from Maduro yesterday, guys. He sounded like he was almost pleading in an interview done from a car, believe it or not, saying he was almost begging the Trump administration for a deal with oil. Of course, many American oil firms were kicked out of Venezuela decades ago. We've heard from President.
Nah, too late. You see, once he saw that it was over, he's like, yo, let me make a deal. Nah, it's over, bro. That's it. You done started something. We done shot. You understand? So you gotta go with the flow now. When you was on the high hill, you wasn't trying to budge. But now all of a sudden you want to budge? Come on, boy. It's over for you.
Trump in recent days saying he wants that oil back and the company's in.
Well, and it's, excuse me, pretty clear, Lucas, that the clock.
And we're keeping the oil. Fuck that.
Run out for Nicolas Maduro to come to the table despite that interview that he did. Lucas, we're just getting a tweet this morning from Senator Mike Lee, who is saying just got off the phone with Secretary Rubio. He informed me that Nicolas Maduro has been arrested.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not with the Americans raiding other countries. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there's poverty in that country, but it's only because of the president. Their leader is who's making them poor. So they vote some other guy in, but this guy's like, nah, I'm the president. So I die. Come on, that's crazy. You understand what I'm saying? That shit fucking and then his legacy is crazy. He wants to leave a legacy behind some no man. Get him out. Put somebody there that's gonna give life to the country, you know?
By U.S. personnel to stand trial on criminal charges in the United States, and that the kinetic action we saw tonight was deployed to protect and defend those executing the arrest warrant. This action likely falls within the president's inherent authority under Article 2 of the Constitution to protect U.S. personnel from an actual or imminent attack. It's interesting as we read that, Lucas,
So what you think? You think there's gonna be any retaliation? I mean, who's there? Who's left? The generals? Or the generals gully? Are they gonna put in work or did they just give up? That we don't know nothing about that.
Vice President Delcy Rodriguez of Venezuela took earlier to state TV in Venezuela demanding proof of life of Maduro. But it's pretty apparent that it's unclear who is running that country right now. You're looking live at some of the strikes that were carried out there. Do we have any more indication about who is running the country there now and what?
That's my question. Is it the generals? And what they want, talking about proof of life. Like they killed him. They ain't kill him. They got him there somewhere, you know? Because he has to stand trial for all the people he killed, all the people in poverty. You crazy, bro? I thought he was a madman.
Whether or not any of the other individuals, like the vice president and others associated with Maduro's regime, may be targets still.
Do not get a consolidation loan until you see this. Did you know that on most credit card statements,
What's notable, that statement from Venezuela's vice president confirming the news from President Trump that President Nicolas Maduro and his wife were seized by that American assault force, likely either the Delta Force or SEAL Team 6, flown with the 160th
Delta Force or SEAL Team 6. Sound like some Rainbow Six shit.
Special Operation Aviation Regiment, the Night Stalkers, the most elite pilots in the world. It's notable, we saw the video of those U.S. Army helicopters flying low over Venezuela under the cover of those airstrikes in darkness, that you didn't see any Venezuelan surface-to-air missiles or AAA anti-aircraft fire. And it's notable, Griff, that I spoke to Elliot Abrams, President Trump's former special envoy.
See, they weren't ready for it. They caught him at midnight. We strike at midnight. Boom.
To Venezuela recently. He said this was a showdown between President Trump and Nicolas Maduro, and there could only be one winner. And that is why President Trump likely did not back down. You had this large military buildup in the Caribbean. You have about a dozen warships offshore. You have the U.S.
It was ready. The plan was ready. The plan was ready. They put it into tactation. Done.
USS Gerald R. Ford strike group that was rerouted from Europe came to the Caribbean. You had the USS Iwo Jima amphibious assault ship. You have dozens of helicopters aboard there, of course, dozens of strike aircraft aboard Ford. You also had squadrons of F-35 stealth fighter jets from the Air Force that arrived in Puerto Rico in recent days, from the Air Force, including the Green Mountain Boys from Vermont. You also had the Marine Corps.
He sent everybody out there. U.S., huh? You know, not to reverberate myself, but they need a good leader. They need a new leader, a fresh leader. You know, somebody that knows how to have good affairs with the other countries and just bring back Venezuela, man. You know, bring it back. I mean, Venezuela's rich, bro. You understand? Venezuela's rich with oil.
35 Bravo version also on the ground in Puerto Rico. She had this large armada and firepower assembled. You had KC-135 refuel.
U.S. confirmed strikes on Venezuela. See, look, they were all around the borders waiting. F-35 Bravo version on the ground in Puerto Rico.
Planes in the Dominican Republic. President Trump offered no indication that he was backing down from his threat. And President Trump, when he makes these threats, typically follows through. And that's what we saw in the pre-dawn hours this morning. And again, there could only be one winner in this showdown, and it was not Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, it appears.
So, Lucas,
of course it wasn't. You know how it goes.
real quick, we understand that that this operation was successful and is over. But do you have the sense that it is in fact over with and the firefight is finished? And then where do we go from here?
That's a good question. Like I said, let them have an election again. Get everybody that was involved with Maduro, they gotta go. They can't be allowed to be politicians anymore. Politicians, generals, nothing. Bring a whole new staff in. That's gonna take a couple of years, man.
Well, Charlie, the U.S. military likes to operate at night. The pilots would have night vision.
What I told you. 12 midnight, hit him. 1 a.m., hit him. They're crazy.
Goggles, the assault force would have had night vision goggles. That is their perfect time to launch these kind of operations is under the cover of darkness. Not because most people are asleep. Likely Maduro and his wife were probably asleep when they blew up the door and grabbed him. So we've heard from Senator Lee also in that thread you just read. He says he was informed by the Secretary of State that the operation is over. It appears the goal was not just to strike the Maduro regime, and that could have almost been a distraction from the main objective, which was to snatch the Venezuelan president and his wife so they could face charges back in the United States.
Expedite him. So now they expedite him and trial him over here. Once they trial him over here, it goes from there. Montego Bay, a Supermax. Or they probably send him back to his country and lock him up over there. Bottom line, it's over for him.
Lucas, back in October, President Trump sent a clear message to Maduro saying this.
Mr. President, it has been reported that Maduro offered everything in his country, all the natural resources. He even recorded a message to you in English recently, offering mediation. What should we do in order to stop that?
He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want around with the United States.
Yeah, the president didn't mince words, Lucas. This is obviously a signature moment for President Trump and his administration, another precise, swift, and seeming
Crazy. They went in. They did some good. You understand what I'm saying? At least he did some good because he freed Venezuela. That's under Trump's belt. So what they're going to say about him now? Like, I don't got nothing against... Look, I don't do the politics thing. I don't care who's what. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like good things like this shouldn't go merited. Maybe there's a lot of bad things, a lot of good things, but this is good. This is good.
effective military operation. What do you think we can expect to see from the international community in response?
Well, allies of the United States are going to be on the side of the United States, and America's adversaries are going to come down pretty strong on this. And when you read the statement from Senator Lee talking about Article 2 and the president's authority to carry out this operation, likely probably getting a jump on some of the criticism that the president might be facing with.
And so what they're saying is other world leaders that don't like the United States, they're going to try to push the subject that it was illegal what it was done. But I mean, how long were we going to continue to see them being bullied over there? And then our oil prices are mad high because this dude doesn't want to sell. Come on, man. And he has his country starving just because of his pride. You got to go, bro. You got to go.
Democrats on Capitol Hill, so perhaps a little cover there from Senator Lee. So adversaries of the United States and, of course, Maduro's allies, Russia, China, and Iran, are going to come down very strongly on this operation. And let's not forget that in early December, War Secretary Pete Hegseth outlined America's new national security strategy. Part of it was bringing back what he called the Monroe Doctrine, taking control of the Western Hemisphere. There are officials in...
See that? Because once you took them out, that's it. That's not you. Right? Go looking. Let them do their thing. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, for the meantime, right now, they need some authority over there. So, of course, the U.S. is going to be over there. But besides that,
the Trump administration, including Secretary
they need to get out.
Rubio, that want to decrease the influence of China, Russia, and Iran. Of course, we've seen Hezbollah operatives set up shop in Venezuela in the past. this was all the reason that President Trump wanted a change in Venezuela.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmer.
Man, that's crazy, bro. Nah, but like I said, this is just breaking news. To me, I woke up, saw this. I said, oh, let me let the people know. Maduro's locked up. He's in American soil. His wife too. They're probably gonna continue looking for his entourage. Man, I guess let's see what they do with this dude. But America definitely needs to manage the country for now, at least for the next 4, 5, 8 months, until they get somebody to control Venezuela. The problem is they can't just let anybody in, because then what could happen is the same thing. It'll be a Maduro all over again. But let me know what you think. Should Trump stay over there for a while? Should he come back and let them do theirs? Drop a comment, like, subscribe, share. Peace.